Alright, so in this tutorial I'm going to be answering questions from people who have been watching me script and learning from me. Okay, so the first question here is, can you explain things like creating windows with Windows selectable and moving the cursor around the window? Well, to be honest, I don't really understand the question, because Windows selectable is basically the base class of Windows command, which is what you use when you want to select stuff. But regardless, in talking about the moving the cursor around the window thing, I think the question is actually asking me, how do I stop it from being a list and make it into a horizontal thing? Like you'd see in the items thing. I'll show you. Go to items and see this. I think that's what the question is. They want this instead of this. Alright. So yes, it is easy to do that pretty much, and I'm going to get rid of the hash stuff because I don't need it anymore. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so let's do something about that, and we can make it horizontal rather than vertical. It's pretty easy to make this happen actually, and I don't think I need to make a whole new scene just to show how to do it. What happens is, if you go up into Windows selectable, they have this method here called callMax, which is it's right here. Cool. So in Windows selectable itself, callMax returns 1. Now if we actually go search this up, no, not that, callMax. You can see in multiple occasions callMax is used to do different calculations and stuff of where the cursor should be, what item you're currently selecting, and stuff like that. So as you go downwards, you can notice that Windows item category has dev callMax, and so does item list and skill list and equip and shop and enemy. These all have their own callMax. And if you go into and take a look at them, this one has callMax return too. So in item list, I can have 2 columns of commands. So all you really have to do is just go into one of the inherited methods, inherited classes. So this is inherited from Windows selectable. So when it goes to callMax, this is overwriting the one in Windows selectable. You know, the one that says return 1. It's overwriting that, saying no, return 2. Alright? So, to make this pretty easy and to get it out of the way quickly, all you have to do is just create a method called callMax and make it return whatever number of how many things you want in a command. Row, column, it's one of them. Alright, and I think I can do that right now by going to Windows menu command, probably. Yes, probably not. Where's Windows command get made? Yeah, I'm not sure that's the one I want. How about just Windows command? There we go, that looks nicer. That's what I can use. Alright. What we can do here is we can go dev callMax, because as you can see, it's getting inherited from Windows selectable. So we can go dev callMax, because this one isn't actually using callMax because it's using one column for all its commands. So if we go dev callMax and we say something like return, I don't know, how about return 4? I'll just move that down. Alright, so what's going to happen is when we actually go into the menu, it's going to be 4 across and 2 down, and yeah, it's doing it here too. New game. And in the menu, see, I can go across. Alright, so this would be items here and skills here, and whatever's supposed to come after that until we get to game end, which is here. See? So it affects the whole thing. And that's why we shouldn't be using that. Oh, and oh yeah, and the text wasn't popping up because the text was too small to fit. See, because the way the windows were made, they were made to actually fit the text that it was supposed to be holding. So when it got up to using the text and it's supposed to like shrink it by 4 times the amount, it couldn't do it. So if we actually just increase the width of the window, so if I make it roughly about 1000 by 1000, you should actually be able to see the text now. See, you can see the text. Alright, it's off by a little bit, but you know. Window, here you go. Unfortunately, that means that the other information stuff is gone. So I can actually see what I want to select now. I can go items, weapons, and it goes across because I've made it 1000 by 1000. Game in, formation, all that stuff. Shut down, there we go. So, anyway, that's just how you do that. That's all you have to do to make your window have selectable options that go across the screen. Alright, just define column max to make it return more than 1, and that's it. That's how you make it so you can have columns of your commands. So I've just done 4 here by default, but if I want to go array dot size, I can do that too. So that way all my commands will be in one line across the screen, if I was to have it that way. But anyway, that's that part done. All you have to do for making that possible is just define call max. Don't do a window command because window command is inherited from a lot of gets inherited by a lot of things. So that's why I can see pretty much every single command window that was being used was changed. So you know, if you're going to do it, make sure you make your own class of it, inherit from window command, and change things as you need to. It's just better that way. Okay, so next question is, I've been watching your tutorials like crazy and I've made 3 scripts now as a result. You were talking about a cool way to dispose windows during one of your synopsis videos and never did. Can you do a tutorial on different ways to animate sprites in Windows? Well, first of all, it's a little weird to hear someone say they've been watching my tutorials like crazy, but okay. And they've made 3 scripts now as a result. Yes! I achieved my goal. Somewhat. Talking about a cool way to dispose windows during one of your synopsis videos and never did. To be honest, I don't remember saying that. And as far as I'm aware, there's only one way to dispose windows. Well, there is technically a second, but not really sure if it's need to know. But in that regard, I don't remember saying it, and if I did, it probably had some sort of context with it, so if you can actually pinpoint me to exactly where I said that, I can remember why and what to do. But anyway, so that's a no for the dispose, because I don't remember saying it. And the last one, can you do a tutorial on different ways of animating sprites in Windows? Yes, I can, actually, and that's what I prepared for. There's 2 ways to animate sprites, so to speak. Now, we know about animated GIF files or GIFs and how they do not work with RPG Maker. You cannot just pop in a GIF and it magically starts working. It doesn't happen. If you want to have a GIF in your game, you have to either event it to work that way or, in this case, script it. And we have 2 ways of doing it. There's the way that I like to use because it's easier for the user to use, but it's not memory efficient. And there's a second way that is memory efficient, but unless you like sprite sheets, it's not good for the user. Anyway, so I can do both of them and the window. Alrighty then, let's get started. So I already made scene animation, and it's basically just a rip-off of our scene synopsis with a little small changes done to it. Now, what we have to do is we need to cut down an animated GIF file into sections or parts of the or frames, the way it is. And the way we can do that is, if we go to blog GIF, or anything which can cut frames from animated GIF files, like this handy little website here, called uk.bloggif.com, GIF extract. You just choose a GIF file that's on your computer, which I can do. So, go down, and I can get my running Nino. If you've been on a couple of RPG Maker forums that I've signed up on, you will probably seen this in my signature. Split the GIF, it will do it for you. Alright, and then you can download it in a zip file. So yes, gimme. You know, it's downloading all that stuff. Great, clear list, and okay, minus, where are you? You are, there you are. Extract files. Cool, and there it is. Alright, so these are the files that come inside it. Frame 1, frame 2, yada 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 yada. We are going to rename them. But first, we need to name the folder, what we want to call it. So this, to me, is just Nino running. That's all she's doing. She's just running. Spell it right. There we go. Cut and paste. Let's do it. Pictures. This is the folder for our engine, game, running, whatever the hell you want to call it. What we're doing. And now what we're going to do is we're going to rename these in numerical order. So this is just 1. Oh, and also it's not a GIF file. Need to rename them. Alright, we can just go edit, I hope. No, we can't because Paint's a meanie face. We need to use Paint.net. Let's do it. Open. Now save as 1.png. 1.png. And I'm just going to do this for all of them, so I'm not going to force you to watch me, so I'm just going to pause it for a sec. Alright, so that's done. As you can see, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And it does that for a good reason, which we are about to see in action. Now, it is important that it's in its own folder. And anyway, I'll just get to the script. It'll be easier to talk about it then. So, back to scripting. Go into our module here, which we've already made, and we are going to make an array. And this is going to be a 2D array. The reason why it's going to be a 2D array is we're going to use one array. We're going to use one array as to go through, and inside of that array we're going to have an array that will allow the user to insert as many animated files as they damn well please. Alright, so we are going to make an array here, and I'm going to call it folder animation array. Yeah, because why not? Cool. Now I'm trying to think of how I'm going to do this elegantly. First thing we need to do is x, y position plus width and height. So let's do that. X, y, x, y, width, and width. Yeah. Height. Cool. Width, height, and then we'll go folder name. Folder name. Frames. Just trying to think if I'm missing anything here. X, Y, width, height, folder, frames. I don't know. Anyway, we'll find out later. So its position is going to be 50. 50. Width, I don't know, how about 100? 100 and height, 120. because why not? And the folder name, well, as you can see, the folder name here is Nino Running, so why not? Just Nino Running. And frames, now this is how many frames it should wait until it switches to the next frame or image per se. So let's go something like 10, and then we'll modify it until it actually looks, you know, good. Right? Now just remember there was one more. Amount of frames. So this is frames to wait. Picture frames. Picture frames. Alright, so we're gonna wait 10 frames until we get to the next image. And if we go look for this, which is why I also numbered them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yep, 16. We have 16 frames. So just put it here, 16. Alright. Now let's fix these up. It looks nicer that way. Cool. There we go. So we have X, Y, width and height. So the X is going to be 50 across, so about here-ish. Y also down, so it's going to be like somewhere about here. Width, you know, that's 100, so it's going to be about here. And then 120, so down. So that's where the image itself is going to be, the animated image. And the folder name, so we know what the folder name is, and that's Nino Running. That's what I called it. The amount of pictures that are in it, so I have 16, as you can see by the numerical order. And frames to wait, which is going to be 10. Well, you can have the comment if you want, doesn't really matter. Alright, so that's just going to be that array, and we're going to make another one later, but that's for the other animated sprite thingy. So for this one, we just have the folder animation array, and again, I'm making this as generic as possible by the names. You don't have to. Alright, so in start, we obviously have to make a new instance variable. The instance variable is just going to be an array of arrays, so it's going to be a 2D array, of course. Alright, so this is going to be folder image array, sprite array actually, sprite array. So it's equal to array, as we know already. Alright, so we're going to do our for loop. For loop here, so for I. Oh no, let's not do I. What am I going to do? Alright, we'll do I. For I in 1 dot dot. Alright, I thought so. We have to do folder animation array, so this one here. Dot each do, and this is going to be inner array. And what's going to happen is when we do each do array, it's actually going to give us this whole thing here. This is a variable. Remember, an array is a variable that just has stuff inside of it you can access. So when I have an array inside of an array, I'm actually giving the array a variable. So yeah. Alright, so this is going to be inner array. Alright, sweet. Let's do this. So, in our sprite folder array thing here, we are going to have, we're going to start it here. Yeah. Folder array, it's going to be folder array.size, because as I recall from my earliest video on arrays, when you say folder sprite array.size, you're actually getting the size of it right now. The size of it right now is currently 0, and then after we put stuff into it, it's going to be 1, and then 2, and then 3, and so on. Alright? So, folder array size is going to equal array. The reason why it's going to equal array is because we're going to put shit into it, same as with the photo animation array we have up above. And I just realized one more thing. Include Diamond Platinum 3 and animation scene. Alright, I don't think I showed that before. What that is basically saying this is going to put this in front of anything it can't find. So when I say look for photo animation array, it's not going to find it here, is it? Because where is it to find? It doesn't know. It's like, what the hell is photo animation array? I'm going to crash. I don't know what's going on. What are you doing to me? Alright, if it can't find something, if I have this included, it's going to check this as well. It's actually going to do the following. It's actually going to look for this around here, and when I can't find it, it's then going to go do that, and then it's going to go, oh hey, alright, I can see it now, cool, let's do stuff. Alright, so that's what include does. Now be sure if you're going to do it, you only do it in classes that are yours. So in this case, class scene animation, this doesn't exist anywhere. As you can see in the default scripts, scene animation does not exist. This is my own class, it's a class I'm making, which means I have full access to it, and it's not a default, so I can include whatever the damn well hell I please. Alright, I don't even have to alias, really, do I? Alright, so if it's your own class, feel free to use include. Otherwise, don't use them. Alright, cool. Alright, so moving on, we have for I in 1 dot dot, and that's going to be this picture frames. Now this is element 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in our array 5. Again, I'll count it to make sure I'm right. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. So for I in 1 dot dot 16. So it's going to start at 1. It's going to keep going across until we get to 16. Right? Sweet. Let's move on. For I in that stuff. End our loops. So this ends the each loop. This ends the for loop. And that ends the def. Alright. So let's move on. Now what are we going to do next? We have trying to think here. Alright, let's just make sprite. Because why the hell not? Sprite is equal to sprite.new sprite.bitmap, as we all recall this stuff, is equal to cache.picture. And here's where it gets interesting. This folder name. So this is in our array 4. 4 plus. Alright, now if you're not so sure what I just did, basically what I just did was, since we put the folder name here, we can pass in the folder name here just fine, it doesn't matter, but it's going to think this is an image, and it's not, is it? Alright, so it's actually going, so by putting the, what is it, backslash / on it, the / shell, you're saying enter the folder. Now after you do the / we have to go plus, and then we do i.2s. Alright, this one's going to be a doozy. Alright, so in cache.picture, we're saying go into this folder here, the Nino running folder, you know, by putting the / onto it, saying go into that folder, and then get I to string. So, you know, 1, and it's going to keep going until we hit 16. So 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So I to string. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So that's what the I to string does. Now let's continue. Sprite.x is equal to array dot 0 inner array 0. Oh, this is getting quite long. 0. Sprite dot y, damn it, is equal to inner array 1. You know why? Then we do zoom x and stuff. So sprite dot zoom x is equal to inner array, that's 2 divided by sprite dot bitmap dot width. I'm hoping everyone still remembers. I'm hoping you still remember this stuff when we're going through it before. Otherwise, I'm probably not making much sense to people. Zoom y is equal to inner array 3 divided by sprite dot bitmap dot height. And I nearly made that same foolish mistake. Dot 2f to float. Okay. Ooh, what's next? We done height, picture frames, frames to weight. Alright then. So now we have the array. Starting to wonder if maybe we need to do a hash or a 3D array. What do we do? Nah, let's not. Alright, we'll keep it with a 2D array like it is now. What we're going to do is we're going to make it is going to be a 2D array still, but every element inside of that array, inside of an array, is going to be sprite, and then sprite, and it's going to keep being a sprite until we get to the final element. Yeah, that. Okay, and just having trouble explaining these. First thing we need to do is we also need to get the folder array sprite size, because we are going to use that again. So let's put it here, and it's going to be named just FSA, because that's, you know, folder sprite array underscore current index, not cur, damn it, and that's equal to that, and we can put it here. Cool, there we go. So getting current index inside array, because we're going to hold on to that and we need to use it again. Making an array inside of an array. Alright, cool, we've done all that part. And oh yes, one more thing is sprites dot visible is equal to false. Okay. What else? No, that should be all, I think. So we're doing all that stuff. So the for loop. So the for loop is going to get every texture inside of that folder, and it's going to add it into the array. So after adding the texture into the array, all of them. So this is 16. It's adding right now. So if I had more, it would do more. So it's going to add 16, and then after that, we're going to get to the final stages, and this is what's going to happen. We are going to add them all, which I should be doing here. So this, which we made as hash an array anyway. So we just go index is equal to dot size. Yay! Then we go index equal to sprite. Not making much sense? Yeah, don't worry. I think I'm having trouble explaining stuff today. What's going on is index is equal to the current size of the inner array. So as we know, it's going to be something like this. Blah 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 blah. Side here, blah 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 blah. This is actually an array inside an array. So something like that. So every time we come into this array, it's going to add another sprite, right? And then another sprite. So we need to get the size of it. So we need to say, I don't want you to add a sprite in here because we've already got one in here. I want you to put it, you know, over here where you don't actually have anything. See? So that's what getting the size does, and put it into index. Otherwise we can just grab this and put it there, but then that looks rather ugly, doesn't it? So that's why we do this. Okay, that's all done. That's all done. Let's continue. Put index here too. Index is equal to that. Okay, and give me. This one's going to equal the actual size. Actually, frames to wait. Current frames, damn it. So that's equal to 0. And after that's plus 1 now. Plus 1. That's equal to the amount of pictures. So yeah. And that's, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're 6 then. You know, array 6. Array 6. I think I'm doing a bad job explaining today. Alright. If that's not making much sense, what's going to happen is we are going to be using this array for the following. Every element except for the last two is going to be a sprite. And we're going to use that sprite accordingly. Those sprites accordingly. Now, for the last two elements, the second last one is going to be our current frame count. So every time we go, every frame, it goes up by 1 until we hit frames to wait. So once it hits 10, it's then going to go back to 0, and it's going to tell the thing, go to the next sprite in the array list. Cool, right? Alright, sweet. Now after that we have, for the last element we have in array 6, which is the actual number of pictures. And this is just a placeholder, because when we say go to the next picture, if we're actually on the last picture, we can't, there is no next picture, is there? We have to go back to the start, don't we? So that's exactly what the last thing does. It just says, alright, we passed the mark, let's go back. Alright, now I'm just thinking, maybe it would be a better idea if we did the exact same thing here again, and instead we put in the frames to wait, which is actually 5, and 2 frames to wait is yeah, it's actually 7. Yeah, silly boy. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why am I getting so confuzzled today? 6, 5. There we go. That's fine now. So that part's all done, and it's going to keep doing that until we've hit until we've finished every folder sprite crap we have in here. Cool. Finally, that part's done. Let's continue. So we need this. Put an update, obviously. We're going to do each do again. It's in our array. And now here's the kicker. We need to go through everything and make it all spick and span, pretty much. Alright. How to do this. When you go through the array, every frame, you want to make sure you add onto the frame count. So we are going to do that. So in the inner array, we're going to go, inner array goes here, array.size minus 2. So that's size, that's minus 1 element, that's minus 2, that's minus 3, so it's actually minus 3. See, I am not doing very well explaining today, but maybe it will come all together once it works. Yeah. Plus equals 1. So remember, this is actually the frame count we have so far. So this is current frame count. Right, so in array that plus equals 1. We'll do the same thing again. And we're going to say if in array minus 3 is equal to which one was which? I'm not liking this layout. In array that size minus 3, which is this one, the current frame count, is equal to the in array, the actual frame count itself, which is this one, the frame to wait. Then in array 3 is actually now going to equal 0, isn't it? And now we're actually going to modify stuff to make it actually look swell and dandy and cool and great. So, to do that, we have to find out which array we're currently on, which is what this is for. This picture stuff. Yeah, which I also didn't add. Damn it. X plus 1 plus 1 is equal to 0. Current image count. So this is plus 2 now. Plus 2. Plus 3. You're actually minus 4 now. Minus 4. Minus 3. Nope, you still minus 2. Yeah. Getting a bit confuzzled, isn't it? Anyway. Current image count. And now we have to go current image count plus equals 1. So that would be this one. No. Alright. Minus 3. Minus 3 plus equals 1. So we're going to the next image, aren't we? Alright. Maybe if I comment this, it'll look nicer. If current frame count is equal to frame weight count, do it. Current frame counts plus equals 1. Current frame count equals 0. And image position slash count plus equals 1. Alright, that looks a little bit nicer. Now I can sort of imagine people understanding what I'm saying. Alright, to continue on, we have to check to make sure we haven't gone out of bounds. And before we do that, we should probably do the following. In a array, this is where it gets tricky. Dot visible is equal to false. Yeah. Alright. Current image becomes false. Visible becomes false. No longer visible. Alright. And here's why. Because in an array, size minus 3 is the current image position we are on at the moment. So it starts off at 0, right? And every time we get past every so couple of frames, we then get next image, right? So we have to make sure the image we're on currently becomes invisible and not there. Or it's there, but it's not. You can't see it. That's exactly what this does. This is a number telling us what position we are currently on, what image we're currently on. So we just go in our array this one dot visible is equal to false, because remember, every element in the array except for the last 4 now is a sprite. and we can go dot visible on is equal to false, which is exactly what we're doing. Alright, so we've done that one. Current image is equal to false, visible is equal to false. Current image becomes visible. Visible equal to true, because we just changed it, remember? Now, before we do that, we have to actually do some checking. So in array, this stuff equals 0 if in array happens to be equal to the last element. So last element is -1. Yeah. Image count is equal to 0. Equals 0 if image is at its image count has reached maximum. Maximum. Alright, that's all done now. I'm wondering if I've missed anything else, because that should probably be all there is to it. Maybe. I don't know. How about we just try it and find out. Before that we need to dispose everything. So, yes, folder sprite each do. Let's do this in an array. Terminate. Go there. Array, and what we're going to do is, it's pretty simple and straightforward. We just go if inner underscore. We'll actually just go inner array each. Inner array each, because remember it is an array itself, so it does contain elements. Element if element dot is a sprite, delete the damn thing. So element dot dispose. Before that, bitmap dot dispose. Element dot dispose. Alright, sweet, that should all work fine now. Okay, there was something I'm missing apparently, and I think that might have been the terminate. Yes, it was. Again. Animation, let's do it. There we go, you can actually see it animating now. Alright, and to change that around to make it look nicer, we can change the frames to 8. So something like 5 should be better. There you go, that's better. Looks like she's actually running now. So if we reduce that some more, something like, I don't know, how about 3? 3 should look like she's look like normal. There we go, she's running now. See? So that was that part done. Now there is, like I said, 2 ways to doing animation. We have that way that I just did it, which I think I made a lot more convoluted than it should be. Well, not really. It is done that way, but it's not too hard. The reason I like doing it that way is because all I have to do is break this up into images and then load them in that way, so it's easy for the user. Another way is use the sprite sheet. Now, as we all know, if we go into the character stuff, you do have characters that have 3x4 sprite sheets. And it goes like this. They, I think the top one's them just facing down 3, and then left, and then right, and then up. The way they face. That's the sprite sheet, and that loads in. That can also be animated properly. But I'm not going to use that. Instead, that seems a little bit convoluted per se, whereas I prefer just something like this. Alright, so I actually spent time trying to make this sprite sheet, which took me about a good 10 minutes. And yeah, so I can actually use this. I made this the exact same way I made the images in here, just using paint.net, then I realigned them. So again, you can do it this way if you want to. Now, with that done, let's do the next part. So that's the folder animation part done. Now we can do the actual sprite sheet animation. So sprite sheet animation array. Damn it, man. There we go. Again, this is going to be XY with height. XY with height. Yes. XY with height is going to be the same position. This is going to be the actual name itself of the file. So, file name or image name. Image name. Picture frames. It's not really a picture frame anymore. Instead, what we're going to, yeah, it kind of is and kind of isn't. What you need to do is you need to pass in the amount of sprites you have along here. So I do have 16 for this one, so it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I do actually have 16 sprites in this sprite sheet. So it is still 16, but if it was a different number, you just change the number. That's perfectly fine. Alright. So we've done that part, and frames to wait, yeah, we'll just leave it as, put it as 10 again, because why not? Alright, so it's the exact same, and we're going to change the position of it, so that way we can both see Nino and Rita. So this is going to be 200. Cool. Now, the actual name itself, I named it that. So give me that, put it here, and now let's get into it. That looks really bad. Alright. Now, if you go in and look at the actual way the characters are made themselves, so sprite character I think it is, you will see stuff like at CH and at CW, and it does all this stuff here. Now this actually on its own looks like something important, but it's not really. This is just them offsetting sprites on its own. You don't actually need to worry about that. What you do use is this self source rec.set. Now, to explain the way that works is, if we go back into my picture here, when you load up an image like the following, let's say I just wanted this thing here, right? I just wanted this part here. What you would use is a rectangle and then say I want just this part of the image to be displayed. I don't care about any other part of it. And the reason why that's important is because the reason why it's used like that is because it's a rectangle part of the actual image. So you can go in and just grab that one part of the image and take it out and use that. It's just fine. Now, rectangles are done in pixels, whereas in RGSS3 you're using pixel space and stuff to that effect to get things from sprites. Whereas if you were using OpenGL in C++, you'd be using UV coordinates, and that's 0 to 1 in coordinates. So if you ever plan on using OpenGL, just remember this isn't the stuff you're really going to be using to get sprites, specific parts of sprites. Alright, so the source thing itself is in pixels. So as you can see, if I zoom in, the only difference, the only thing this has is width of about 800 and height of about 50. So source would be 0 in Y, so we start at the top, and 50 in height because we just want to get this part here, don't we? Now we have to figure out which one of these the position starts at. So I don't even remember which one I wanted, so let's just say, let's go with this one here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I want to get the 7th picture, don't I? Now how do I get the 7th picture? Well, it's not hard really. You just go 7 divided by 16, because that's how many images are in the actual thing itself. so let's get into it. We just need to worry about src-rec.set. So I'm just going to grab that. Copy, thank you. Let's go down into here. See animation, that's where it is. I can actually copy this itself. In fact, I'm actually going to make a function for it. Let's do that. Let's go def folder sprites setup. Sprites sets up. Just copy this stuff. Like that, and you know, just pop it in here. So it looks somewhat neater, doesn't it? Folder sprite setup. Folder sprites setup. Now we'll make another one. So the other one's going to be sprite sheet. So folder sprite sheet setup. Sprite. Damn it. Sprite sheet. Sprite sheet. Sprite setup. Alright, that's the exact same, except this is just sprite sheet now. So sprite sheet, sprite arrays, equal that stuff. And give me, there we go. That's an @2, by the way, because it's an instance variable. Anything I'm missing? Of course, there's always something I'm missing, but you know. SSA now. Hope I'm getting it right. Don't think I'm missing anything, so that should be fine. Alright. So now all that done is we don't have to actually worry about a for loop anymore. It's just going to be one sprite, that's it. Just one sprite, and we don't even have to worry about, well, we sort of do, so I'll keep it as a 2D array. Alright, so just have to worry about one sprite, and that's pretty much it. So I can get rid of all that. I don't think I need that. No, I don't. So this is just going to be at element 0. No for loop either. 0 is equal to sprite. Sprite. And sprite is going to be visible. Okay. Current frame count, and that doesn't require anything from me, does it? It shouldn't. Current frame count, yeah, that has to be 0. The current index has to be 0 as well. Yes, that can still stay. Cool. Sweet. So that should be all set up now. I hope so. We just have to worry about this, the cache picture stuff. So that's element number 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Back over here, we need to load in element 4. So that's just inner array 4, and that will load it up and do its fancy magic stuff to it. And yeah, so that's going to load in the sprite, and now we have to worry about the actual source rectangle itself. So let's do that. First things first though, go back to the start, load them up. And now I've got you. Alright. That should be all set up and fine and dandy now. I need to put it there. I should update these separately as well. Just looks a bit nicer that way, doesn't it? What is this end for? Yep, it's for that. Okay. Cut, paste, let's do it. Def update. folder sprites. Cool. Update folder sprites, that's what we're doing. Folder sprites. Update spreadsheet sprites. Spreadsheet sprites. It's really just sprite, but you know. Def update sprite sheet sprites. Let's do it. Again, we can copy this because it's pretty much the same for this part. But that's really all the same is, isn't it? So sprite sheet, give me that. Oh, there you are. In array goes in and does all that stuff. So last element. Yeah, except this time we actually know how big it's going to be actually, so we can do this properly. So I can actually just go 1 here. I can put 1 here as well. And here's 3. That's 1. That's 2. Whoops. That's actually 0. Actually, that's not even necessary. Oh. Back to this one. Your element should be... oh yeah, 2. Oh. I hope I'm getting these right. I think I am. I'm not really sure right now. And this is back to 0. Hooray! 0. Alright, I'm going to count it up. In array 1 plus equals 1, so that is the frame count. If frame count is equal to the frame weight count, which is 2 above it, then yes, that's correct. Frame 1 is equal to 0, yes, and frame... yeah, alright, that looks fine to me. Don't need to worry about visible. What we do need to worry about is source rect. So, let's do it. There you are. Alright, and this is going to be in array 0. Because remember, 0 is the actual sprite itself. Source set. Now, this could be a bit of a tricky one to explain. SX means start X, so start X is equal to our current position divided by alright. Our current position happens to be in array 2, because remember we are counting from where we currently are, or the image we want to be. So this is in array 2. Not to float, by the way, because this is going to be divided by the max amount. Alright. Multiplied by inner array 0 dot bitmap dot width. Okay, this should be a little tough to explain. Alright, let's say we're at position... where's my calculator? There you are. Now, let's say we're at position somewhat 7. So we go 7 divided by 16 is equal to that. And then we multiply that by 800. See, so as you can see, we get 350 as the value. Now, if we go into this, and we zoom out, this image itself is actually 800 pixels wide. So, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So to start here, this is 350 pixels, and we just worked that out with the division and stuff we just did, correct? So that's why we're using it. Okay, so that's start x. Start y is just 0, so start y is equal to 0, because this is just a one-dimensional strip of a sprite sheet. So there is no y in this one, it's just 0. Unless you were using the actual normal default, you know, facing down, left, right, and up sprites they give you with RPG Maker, just 0 for y. Then after that we have CW, which is actually width. So width itself is just 50. No, that shouldn't be it. To work this out properly, we have to actually go inner array for dot to float. No, it shouldn't be to float. Alright, we're just gonna divide inner array 0 dot bitmap dot width. And here's why. Because we are actually going the complete set divided by the entire pixels. And this is what it means. Since I have 16 things here, if I go 16 divided by 800, I end up getting the distance between each one. Whoops. 800 divided by 16. Which gives me 50. Which means that I'm doing this back to front. There we go. Alright, so we have our width now and the height. So the height's just going to be... Oh yes, the height's just actually... dot height. Alright, so we have our start x, start y, width and height. So let's put that in. Start x, start y, width and height. So making source rectangle, and this we are actually setting it up. Setting up src values. src values. Okay, and apply. Oh, we have to dispose them too. Yeah. There it is. Dot each do inner array inner array 0 dot bitmap dot dispose, because we actually know the element 0 is actually an array, so we can actually say is actually a sprite, so we can say just remove element 1. We don't have to go through all of them and say is it a sprite, because if it is, then remove it, otherwise don't worry about it, because we're not so sure of the first one, are we? It can be any size. Dot dispose. Sweet. Class definition method body. Hang on a minute. I think I might be missing an N somewhere. What am I missing? I must be missing... I think I might have mixed these up, but that shouldn't cause that problem. Hang on. Okay. Yeah. Because each do, all that stuff. Kinda slipped my mind. Anyway, I should fix these up. So this is actually... now it's sprite sheet instead of folder, so Yeah. Gotta fix them up. Anyway. Okay, let's go. Game, let's run it. Wow, that looks really, really bad. Where's my other one anyway? I do not see my other sprite array stuff. Ooh, long tutorial. Starting to lose it a little bit. Oh. No, maybe. Yes, should be. That should be fine. Start Y should be fine. A little bit confused. I should go work that out. Alright, I caught the problems. In start I had an extra end where there shouldn't be. There should only be one end in start now. And in the folder sprite setup I was missing an end. Whew. It's kind of hard to figure out actually. Anyway, let's give it a test try. See how it looks. Alright, so you can see Nina running and Rita sorta doesn't look right. Alright, let's see if we can fix that, shall we? Where's update? So, let's see what we can do to fix her. Just for sake of it, let's go 50. Since that's what it is, and we'll see if that's the problem or not. Because we are debugging now. We are trying to figure out what is wrong with it. Alright, so that is not what's wrong with it. That's fine. Or it could just be the fact that... Alright, let's see. If we remove that... And there it is. Alright, that's why. So, we need to make some adjustments to that for what we are trying to accomplish. So, how to do this? How to do this? Alright. I'm having a little theory here. Let's try copying this. Gimme. This is going to be sprite. Nope. Sprite. Divided by array 4. You're actually 6 in this one, aren't you? Yep. Okay, you're 5. 5. Well, we're 5. Alright, we'll see if that works. There we go. So now what we have to do is change her animation wait timer a little bit, and we have good to go. Now, if you're wondering what I just did, what I did was I changed the bitmap itself to match what it was actually going to end up being. So when you do sprite.bitmap.width to float divided by the actual amount, we're actually doing this here, this width divided by 100, divided by 50, because that's what the end result of this is. So 800 divided by 16 is 50, which means this is 100 divided by 50. Yeah, might sound a bit weird, maybe. Not too sure. But basically all I did was just make it double the size. So let's change that frame weight to 3, like you know, and they should both be running and looking freaking cool. There we go. So we have this one here, which is actually a collection of images being put into in one spot that just has others not visible and that one at that one particular moment visible. That's all she is. This one, on the other hand, happens to be one image where it's just coordinates or a rectangle around a specific part of the image that gives you that animation effect. Okay? So that's all these two are. Now, I'm sorry if my thing this entire time hasn't been exactly good at telling you how to do it and explaining stuff. Not really sure what it is, but when it comes to doing longer stuff, I tend to lose focus pretty quickly. Alright, and the last one was to oh yes, animate windows. Let's go back to our Synopsis journal. We can do it there. In Post Start, you actually have the option of doing stuff inside there, like animating windows and stuff. So you can animate a window to fly in if you want to, and then just like bam, there it is. I'm a little worn out, so I'm not going to go. I'm not going to do something impressive, really. I'm just going to do fly in. All right, and our window happens to be background. No, that's an image. This one. So what we can do is we can go synopsis description, and we can go down here afterwards. We can go .x is equal to negative, I don't know, 400. So it's like this screen here is 0, so we go negative 400. We're like over here now, over there. Alright, so it's off screen, and then we can like make it fly in. We can do it in a while loop. So while synopsis journal, so description is .x is less than 0, so it's, you know, off screen. Do things like, for one, flying in. .x plus equals, I don't know, how about 10? I'm not sure if you will actually see this happen though. It's either gonna do it way too quickly for you to notice, or well, there you go. So you could see it fly in, but it was really quickly, wasn't it? So we can do something like let's do, how about you change it to 1? See how that looks. Alright. Right, I forgot. Graphics.update. That should do it. There we go. See how it's sliding into view now? It's taking its freaking time, but okay. So that was that done, and we can actually change the value again to 5 and stuff like that. So it's just flying in now. It's sort of animating somewhat. Not too much, but enough for you to notice. There we go, see? And the reason you do graphics.update is because if you haven't noticed before, this is the reason why you need to call super every time you have an update function for your scene classes. In scene base, in update, you have graphics.update and input.update. These two are important because graphics.update actually updates things on your screen, so it draws things as appropriate, whereas as you saw before just then when I wasn't using graphics.update in the while loop, it's sort of like stuck here and then there it goes right there. It wasn't actually updating the image itself to where it should be. It does that once per frame in scene base, so that's why you should make sure you're calling super in scene base. Input.update is when I do when I press X, it goes into input update and says, oh, he's pressed X now. Okay, cool, sweet. That's what input update does. Alright, so that's how you can animate a window. Yes, I can do it for this one too. So I'm just going to make this X dot X is equal to 400. Yes, and then I can make it minus, so dot X minus equals 5, and you can see them both flying in opposite directions. There we go. So that's really all there is to it. Nothing hard to grasp about that. That's all you have to do to make a window animate. I have so far lost my train of thought a lot of times, and yeah, again I apologize if the tutorial wasn't good at explaining things, but hopefully it helped out, because I don't really like doing long tutorials for exactly that reason, where I just end up losing it. Anyway, so until next time, stay safe.